Hey, it's Joe Glines from the Automator, and another episode of what we automated this week with AutoHotkey. This is our editor, by the way, which we just launched, but I assume that'll come up in the video. Recently modified files. So again, this is going to go through and change a bunch of settings on my computer. That changes the DPI, launches my webcam reminder. That's weird. I wonder why that's so far out of place. Turns on Do Not Disturb mode, starts my URL memory tool, so I don't have to remember what URLs I mentioned during the video. It builds a list of them, watches the clipboard, which is cool. And let's say activate window. Yeah, so I was playing with this replay media catcher. I mentioned that a while ago. It's a great tool for grabbing videos and music or audio from web pages like Facebook or something, or YouTube, things like that. Change to incognito mode. I was trying. We were testing stuff in the website, and for one client, we're converting things to other currencies. So, like in Great Britain or in London, it's the British pound. For France, it's the euro and whatnot. And in order to do that, I'd have to first put on a VPN, but also I had to log out of the website. And so, I asked ChatGPT, or I don't know, an AI tool, how can I have a one-click hotkey? Because usually I have to right-click on something else and say open incognito and then go back to the URL I'm on. And it's giving me something to really sending keystrokes and hotkeys, but it worked. So I can be on a given page, hit F9, and just reload. It gets my URL, changes to incognito mode, and then reopens the URL in incognito mode, which is cool. But I was surprised that that's not a thing. So you can only open other URLs, not the one easily, right? You have to do this little monkey dance around it. So that would avoid that. So I was just playing with it, just curious. I don't know what this test was. No idea. Full invoice tag. Oh, that's for a client. That actually, we were doing some work for them during the hero call, so thankfully this is all shareable stuff because he decoded the things. But he had a XML file. He gets them apparently from different vendors, and he has to run them. Some vendors provide them in a where they're correct. Some of them, the XML file he gets for them are incorrect, and he was struggling trying to figure out first what the difference even was. When he finally realized the difference, it was basically inserting a tag, and so he was asking for some help because he's not familiar with like building the stuff in XML with AutoHotkey to manipulate XML. So he was asking how would we go about doing it. And Isaias, he thought the day was Saturday, so he was like, yeah, I don't know if I'll be around. I'm not going to be around tomorrow. And I'm like, that was on Friday, and I'm like, okay, so are you not going to be here? The hero calls or whatever. But anyway, turns out he thought the next day was Sunday, not Saturday, which is when we were still working. And so I just said, well, let me just give it to AI, because Josh gave us this file an hour or two before the hero call, and I haven't played with the XML in V2. I did it in V1 with Maestri. That was, I don't know, 8 years ago, maybe. Irfan wasn't that familiar with XML, so I said, well, let me give it to AI, and I gave AI my XML library, and I used it in the project, and I showed people, which... Let me just jump to the Claude project to, again, walk through how simple it can be. So I have a shortcut. Instead of jumping to Claude, which will be my new ones, this will jump right to my projects. And in one of them, I have my projects with AutoHotkey libraries. And in here, you can see my XML file was the last one I loaded because I didn't have that one in here. But this is a repository of library files I've given it for things that I use frequently. And then I just said, the client, Josh, had told us, he gave us 2 working files. One was the one was the fixed version, and one was the, here was the clean copy. This is what he gets. This is with the added tag. He didn't tell me what the added tag was, but through not Git, but in VS Code, Irfan saw it was this full invoice tag that was, put, because there were like 4 or 5 invoices in that one XML file. So they had to be inserted at different places in the file. So I just gave it to them. I gave it my XML library, and I did tell it, use my XML library. You don't always have to do that. It'll often find them. And what's cool is in my XML file, let me go back, let me see, am I done with this? Yeah, anyway, it gave me code to run, which we'll switch to in a second here, but I want to show you this because it's an important point. In my XML files, I tell it, hey, here is my local path to that XML file, right? So when you give me code that uses this library, don't give me back this library, right? Which is, let's say it's a couple hundred lines long, probably, right? At least. Sometimes they're thousands of lines long. Don't give that back to me. Just use an include, and that way I can cite it and use an include, and I don't have to get it back. I don't have to worry that he changed it, AI changed it, and I don't have to worry about anything. It just uses it, right? So it decreases the amount of tokens used, so that worked really well. Now we'll go back into here. So it gave us, oh, actually, let's see here. This is Irfan's approach. So this is my approach, which you can see it used the include, which was great. This is the path to mine. Now, of course, if we give this to the client, you got to tell him he needs to update this path because he doesn't have that. But it goes through using the COM object in XML and parses it in, and it worked. And then Irfan live during the hero call updated it where, like, because if I run this, it comes up with the GUI, and you can't drag the file here. Well, Irfan changed it where you can just drag the file to here instead of having to select the path, right? So I think that's why now it's just saying process the file instead of select the path and stuff. So yeah, it will go clean those up, and I think he actually made it where it would do it in a loop, which is cool. But Irfan's approach, and this is why we wanted to show a couple ways, was he just did basically a stir replace with a regex too, right? A little bit of work. So there's always more than one way to, attain your goal. And we just covered two. We came up with two of them in a short time right before the hero call, and then explained it all during the hero call. So this A is script maker. This one, we finally launched it, so that URL that's not on the screen. There we go. Sorry, I had that off. That is where you can get it for, I think, $4.99. Now, Irfan spent a good, I'd say, 3 weeks working on that editor, right? So I'm paying him full. This is why people wonder, oh, you're charging for stuff. Yeah, well, I just paid an employee for 3 weeks of work to develop it, and we're not done, right? We just finally got it where we can share it. It is very snappy, so you can lots of benefits to it. We're going to create a custom video on it, but there's some really cool stuff. One of the coolness is these examples. So if you're new to AutoHotkey, you can have some examples that will dump right into your editor for you. And it's not just the straight up things out of the AutoHotkey help, right? Because it's often combining things that you're doing. So, yeah, lots of just examples of doing stuff. So very cool. And there's 8 million other things. The one that I love a lot is that I can switch easily between V1, V2, or the dev if I want to be playing with dev. And so this would run. I can select it and run stuff. I can right-click here and say run selected. There's lots of little cool stuff we built into it. It's solid, unlike Site, which is a great editor. I'm still use it for other stuff. I just don't program with it. We set it up where you can easily access these, and this is where you also put in your dev version. This can be whatever version you want, right? If you're playing with a different version of U1 or V2, it can make it easy to switch between them, and then you choose your default version of both the version and the bitness, and then you can save it. I'm just going to hit cancel. We have customizable hotkeys and lots of other cool stuff. So, and we're going to be adding more and more tools, which I think is going to be really, really cool. It's what's going to set it apart. That'll be under a subscription, like $1.99 a month or something, but we're going to be adding like our Ultimate Spy and other inspectors and syntax writers, things that really help speed up stuff. And those are things that we actually sell, so that's why it's going to be subscription for the editor, because we're going to be packing them in here and you get to use them while you're a subscriber. So enough about ASM, but I'm very proud of this thing, and I'm using it all the time, and you know, we're still uncovering a little bugs here and there, but boy, it's great. If you're using Site for AutoHotkey and you're a little limited, and you have problems with it being able to edit the file or run, one of the big problems with Site people run into is when you install it, it will switch to the default where when you double click it from your command line, it will go to the edit instead of run it, and so it's really annoying. And we tried figuring out what was going on and didn't figure it out, so we said, you know what, let's just make our own. And this way we have full control We got some cool text manipulation that you can easily do around here. But lots of great stuff, and like I said, more to come. But this version is pretty... Oh, this is also the recently modified files. I have it in my preferences to say show 30, right? So it's a lot. But... Oh, and actually... So my DPI is throwing it off, because usually I can see this full list. So I can come into here, and let's see here. Under preferences, let's make that 20 and save it, because now I have the more here, right? With my DPI higher, I can't see as many. But normally I don't run it at this DPI, it's only when I'm recording videos. But why not make it and if you want to hit more, then you get into this search, and this you can enable fuzzy matching, and it will search across your files and look where you're. I think we're tracking 1,000, your last 1,000. And as time happens and things get missed, you can hit clean and valid, and it will go through and remove things that are no longer valid. Clearly that just did something. So anyway, yeah, it's a cool editor. Check it out. Hopefully you like it. And I appreciate anybody that pays the $4.99. Or it's under the, I forget what our thing is that you can get for, it's like around $25. It's a one all access pass. Gives you access to our non-premium scripts. So we're keeping it low. It's really just to avoid the people that are spammy and stuff, because $5 is not much these days. Sadly, I know that both from paying it and from getting it. AHK script maker. That's still just this one. I'm not sure. Oh, this is my version. Irfan is working on his, and he will be working on it and break the current version. So I like having my own version that I can keep, and it's stable. When he's done with stuff, he pushes it over to my version, so I don't have to worry about it. So these are all just that. Scintilla, assign hotkeys, a lot of stuff in there. HK. So this tool, we haven't published it yet, but if I run it, it was already running, so it comes up with this error. But this is one of my favorite tools that we created, and it can show you hotkeys and hot strings. I can filter. I can say just show me hotkeys. So the K is for the hotkeys, because they both have hot at the beginning, and hot strings. We should capitalize that S and K. To make it pop. Those are those icons. Or I can say, maybe I should say both instead of all. But, yeah. Apps key. And so here are some of the ones I use for sending these, the question marks, and the A, Control-Shift-A is the A. Let me see if I can do it here. Yeah, so it sends that A, which is the blood type, so I have the description. But it's very cool. If you double click it, except for in our editor, a lot of them it will actually jump to that line, which it tells you over here on the right, tells you the file and the line. You can also come under preferences and tell it which files you want it to scan and not include. And you have a hotkey here for pulling up this menu. So it's a very cool tool. One of our clients borrowed the idea and then added more functionality, which sometimes, I'm not knocking what they're doing, but sometimes more is not necessarily better, right? Our tool is very simple and very clean, and I'm very happy with it. We're going to add a checkbox somewhere over here that will change. So this, instead of showing you the caret plus exclamation point, it'll have Control-Shift-Alt, right? In order to know that's what's going to, the hotkey is. So you can, right now, because I've been programming without a hotkey forever, I don't have to think about what this is. My brain is translating it for me. But it'd be kind of nice to have, instead, like this says apps key, because that is what AutoHotkey uses, is the word apps key there. But wouldn't it be nice if we had the text here, Control-Shift-R, right? For people who aren't familiar, we have the decoder ring, so to speak, up here, but wouldn't it be nice to have a little toggle here, right, to make that easy to switch between? We're also talking about, I have like roughly 130 or 40 cheat sheets for different 100 programs that we mapped out their hotkeys, and they're in spreadsheets. And so we're going to, I think I'm going to pay someone to go through and get us the executable names. That's meant like in Excel, it's just excel.exe. It's not always that simple, right? But we're going to then let you say, hey, let's go ahead and map, if I'm running excel.exe, show all the hotkeys in here, which is really cool. And I think we already, if not WOB, yeah, so notice there's no WOB here, but that is because that is now in a fuzzy match, right? So it's an ordered characters, so it allows you to find stuff without knowing exactly what you're looking for, right? So Irfan made that update, but that's a really cool tool. It's pretty snappy. I'm glad we finally got it converted to V2. Let's see, this is still same stuff. One of our clients asked about FedEx tracking with AutoHotkey, and they didn't want to they weren't ready to say to have us pay for us, but I still played with it a little bit to see if we could do an API call to do the FedEx tracking like you can see in a browser. This compares sets. I think I talked about this last week, but I made an update, and this again with the DPI. That's funny. Just a little too big for the screen with the DPI. But of course I have a hotkey for that, so I can easily change my DPI and move it around here. Now, if I run the comparison, we'll see there's stuff up here, but now I can name them. So Joe, I'm just making stuff up. Bob. I'll run it again. I don't think I have to run it. Oh, no, I shouldn't have to run it again. But when I hit Control-Shift-A, now this is in my clipboard. And notice it says Joe at the top. So that way I know when I go paste it, I know what I grabbed it from. Control-Shift-B gives me the second one, and Control-Shift-C will give me the Joe and Bob with all the items in that list. So I made those updates. I'm very happy with that. And this tool is really awesome if you're trying to understand the overlap between things. It makes it really simple to say, I have list A, I have list B. Tell me what's only in A, tell me what's only in B, and tell me what's only in both, right? I can't say what's in neither, because that's nothing. But yeah, very, very cool and helpful tool. Drive Creator. During a hero call, Connie, a hero member, mentioned he had some problems with this tool. I'm just going to run it. So you can see I have a lot of different drives with things mapped. These are folders on my computer, and they're mapped to drive letters, right? And these are local. The local drives are real hard drives, so my C, D, E, and F are all real. Of course, my A and B are not real, because who's had those in forever? But I'm like, I want to repurpose them. So this goes to my Automator drive. This is my general Dropbox overall. So everything under the B drive is backed up in Dropbox. And these, a lot of them you'll see here, C users, Joe, Dropbox. These are all, this one, and this one are under Dropbox, but there's quick ways for me to navigate to it. And I can hit add, and it will tell me, it already removes the drives that have already been used, so I don't have to worry about that. I can put it in a folder, and I can choose whether to mount on startup or not. And actually, Isaiah reminded me of this. I knew we added that because these drives don't get created until you reboot. And it's complicated, but they're set in the Windows registry. But the good thing is they always exist as far as Windows is concerned because they're built in the registry. However, if you want something instant, you can just turn this off. And if I create a new drive here, like let's say I'm going to create a Q drive, and we'll just put it to the C, which I think that should be fine, and hit add. Now I have, if we open the hard drive, the Explorer, bring it on over and go to this PC, I'll have a Q drive, right? And that's just a reference to my C drive. But what's cool is I don't have to reboot. So this really is like a temp drive, because when I do restart, it's going to disappear. So yeah, anyway, Connie was having some issues with it. We also have an import and export. So once you map them, you might want to export it and save it. Then you can import it when you're next time. Flexifinder, I think I made a couple minor changes. This is a great little tool for, because it has a hotkey. Sorry, my bad. So this is the Flexifinder tool where you can tell it ahead of time to look at certain websites and the search that you want to look for. Let's say, we'll use Automator, we'll use Google, and we'll search. And now it's going to open that on. I only had the forums, but I could have selected the forums. Actually, Stack Overflow. Let's say YouTube. Let's try this again. So if you have a lot of places where you search for the same thing, you can add to this list, by the way. You can turn off the grayscale. So now notice it's searched on, this is the Google search, this is the Stack Overflow search, and this is the forum website search. So it's cool that I can use Google. Let me show you. It's using Google to search those things, right? So it's a great, easy way to do multiple the same search on different sites, and you can easily customize them. Hey, look, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. What a surprise. All right, let me just close this entirely. Get active path. Oh, this is one of my favorite tools. You can just hit a hotkey in a lot of programs you're in and get the path to the active file. It's a huge time saver. XML. I think we were making some tweaks to the XML library. That was the one that I just mentioned we did with a client. We're working on it. Media player. This one I use for playing music and stuff, and so I don't want to start it because then it'll play music. But it has a lot of built-in hotkeys. And is it running? Let me see if it's running. Because I often will close it. Now let me run it and I'll try to pause it right when it starts. Or I can lower the volume real quick here. We'll just... There, I paused it. Now I'm going to go back to our hotkey lookup tool and filter by file. Media, do I need to reload this thing? And I have noticed with this tool, what's interesting is that it doesn't like to reload. Oh, it did that time. So now I'm going to filter on my media player, and here are the hotkeys that I've built into it. So I can skip the file playing. I can hit the pause key, or I can hit the media play pause key. I can open my folder. What you basically do is you choose a folder. That's what you want to listen to is in that folder. It will randomly select from them. Control Shift Escape will quit the program. I can increase the volume by 5 or decrease it by 8. I know that seems weird, but I like to stagger it. That way I can kind of get off of the same exact levels. I can also use the wheel mouse up and wheel mouse to Control Shift wheel mouse up and down to control the volume of the music, not of my system, right? Which is really, really cool. This will open the folder where the file is, which is cool. I can actually... Control Shift. That shouldn't say a message under construction, because it works. I can delete the file, and I can increase... I forgot I even had these. Control Alt Shift I to increase by 15 instead of the smaller increments. Maybe I'll remove those because that's a lot of hotkeys in one program. And num. Control Windows num. To set volume to 3 for a particular counter. I honestly have no idea what that is. I don't know what that's doing in there, but you get the idea. What's cool is I can choose my hotkey, my programs to filter on a given program, a script I'm running. Toggle between monitors. Yeah, this is weird because this is an alt click, but there's something with this. It's not pulling that one. It's just alt. I hold down alt, and if I hold down alt and right click, it will throw it to the predetermined monitor. So it's a toggle back and forth, and I love that one. I use that one a lot too. This one I was using, and boy, I wish I could find it, but I was doing reminder or a reactivation email campaign to people, and it's complicated, but while I was doing it, I was doing that VPN testing for the, while it was running, because I'm sending one a second, every 5 seconds I send an email, like to 3,000 email addresses. So it takes a while to go over. It's just a way to increase your deliverability of emails. If you're finding your emails go to spam, if you send them individually, things like Gmail and Outlook and stuff, they will be more likely to open your email because it was sent just to you, and they can detect those kind of things. So it's a way to kind of increase the likelihood you'll get delivered. So I was doing that process. Well, during that process, I turned on my VPN and checked the currencies, and suddenly I got a thing from Outlook saying my password was wrong. And I think Mailgun, the tool that we use for sending the emails, was detecting that my VPN that I had changed and stuff, and so I went to change a password, which ended up locking my account. And after it locked my account, then they're like, oh, your account's blocked. Okay, well, to fix this, and they had this crazy long list of things that I had to do. One was change my API keys for everything on that, change all the passwords for all of the accounts where I'm sending through it. There were some other ones, and I'm like, oh, mercy, this is ridiculous. But yeah, it sucked. Here's my OBS banner. This is this tool here, which I can, I gotta hit the home key, and I can change what's on the screen. So that, you see it right there. Yeah, if I could type. So when I hit enter, it will update this thing on the screen. And that is how during hero calls and whatnot, live, webinars, I can push stuff. I can be sharing my screen and push it where people can see it online, which is on the screen, which is really cool. It's a good time saver. Resource Finder. Did we make a change to that? This is our tool for finding icons. So I can. Oh, it's running right now. It's done. And then I can search. Let me say red. Or let's see, people. So we've tagged them, and we should have used AI, but I actually paid a guy to go tag all these things. And light. So it allows you to search on topic. And that was all before AI, and now with AI, I'm not so sure this is as needed, but we use it a lot. We also incorporated where you can get code. So let's say I wanted to set my tray icon for V2. I can copy it. Oh, that's weird. I guess we took that out. It should have been showing it on the clipboard in a notify class at the bottom to show it. Oh, that's because it didn't. Oh, because I don't have one selected. I'm an idiot. There we go. So now in the bottom there, it just showed the code, which I can come back here and paste. And this is the code for setting your tray icon. And it even reminds you what this icon was, right, from what the tags were, which is really cool because sometimes it gets very confusing, right? So this is a great tool. We have lots of different code. This will be one of those tools that'll be in ASM because it's really helpful to be able to easily change your icons, right, for your AutoHotkey scripts. I have a crap load running at any given time, and so it's really nice to be able to change those. Project invoice calculator. This one, I was just adjusting Irfan's rate because he's really good. So our normal rate is $71.99. Actually, I thought that was higher. Oh, it depends on the person. Let me see here. Yeah, our normal rate now is $74.99, and I need to change that default. But it's for Irfan at $66.99. And I can just choose an email, which this is to me, so I can hit, let's say it's 1 hour, so if I hit email, it writes my email for me. It's opening Outlook for me right now, and it's going to display it. And then I can also paste in here, that has the picture of the thing, right? So when I'm doing invoicing, it's really easy for me. And notice it's sending it to the person that was selected, but also it's blind CCing. In this case, it's me in both, right? But if you noticed in here, we also have Stripe. This will actually go create an invoice in Stripe and send it to them. And once that invoice is in Stripe, it automatically reminds them if they haven't paid yet. So we added that functionality with the API call to handle that for us. So that's really cool. That's not something we've shared. If you are interested in having automated things like that and make it really easy to do invoicing, let me know. We can build, tweak what we've done to make it adjustable for you. Lots of stuff with under tools, site for. I guess someone must have moved site. I don't know why those are all there. And then the auto run portable site. Yeah, I'm not sure. That. But anyway, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. And if you learned something here, please like the video. It really helps me out. Consider joining the Hero Club. We have a lot of fun. We just had a great couple calls this weekend. And it was just really fun talking about different ideas and things and what we're doing. But have a great day. Cheers.